Welcome, Tim.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for coming.
Yeah.
So we're talking about paid service.
Right.
This is an issue that is, people have different opinions on it.
Yeah.
We don't really have like an actual solution. But I'd just like to ask, why should people be paid or not? If the answer is not.
Paid.
Or is there no answer?
You mean paid to do ministry work?
Paid to do ministry work, especially worship leaders and instrumentalists, because that's where the issue seems to be. Right. But I do know that there are other areas of service that people have felt like they should be paid or not be paid. Yeah. So why should they be?
Yeah. Why should they be? Okay. That's puts me in a situation. Well, I think we all know why people should be paid generally. Is because we live in a world that is very material and that's just the system of the world where when you offer something, then there's remuneration or there's something back. So it's just a generic point of view, and that's why you have the work culture, that's why you're here and so on. But I hear you with, it's a broad, I think I was telling you off here, it's a broad conversation of so many things. But when it comes to the place of, like you said, music ministry, worship leading, I'm a worship leader, I've been a music minister for a long time. And that also translates, because it's a pulpit ministry, focused ministry, it's a pulpit, is it focused? It's pulpit hosted.
Hosted, yeah. Hosted by the pulpit, yeah.
Pulpit, altar, stage, whatever you're going to call it. It's the same place where a preacher or a pastor stands. And what has happened over time, different layouts of the church, pastors are generally also paid to do that work. Generally, they're actually paid to do the work because that's how the institutions have been set up, the institution of the church. I'm just laying that as a foundation. So people have got different opinions. There are people maybe who will think that a clergy or a pastor should not be paid. Hence, then we can say you're on the same group. I think all I'm trying to say is that there should not be any particular demarcation in saying, okay, why is a worship leader being paid? And I could probably ask the same thing, why is a preacher being paid? But I know where the controversy has come up. It's because I think, from my perspective, in 2006, around 2006, 2005, from my perspective, that's when we started hearing this conversation, especially in Nairobi, amongst one or two churches about getting the best musicians at that time in industry and draw them to church. And the interesting thing, music generally worldwide across board, well, I would say Europe and America, who have been the strongest industry people, and in Africa I could say probably Central Africa, strongest industry. Most musicians come from the church. They grow up as people have come.
That's the nurturing point for most. Yeah.
And the reason why it's a nurturing point is because Christians are the only society in the world that sings every week.
Yes,
the only society in the world
that is true.
You always sing, and either you're doing it on a Sunday or it's an expression.
Yeah, and, some even 3 times a week, depending on how many services you have.
Yeah, society that does that. So naturally, music is nurtured from that point. So now, when you're discovering yourself as an adult, and I'll still come around your question, as you're growing as an adult, discovering yourself, you have a foundation that is very spiritual based, that is very Christian expression based. So then, when you get into what we call the industry, don't be surprised that a big percentage would be people who are coming from the church, and even some of these big artists that people probably follow. I know one of the big American artists, John Legend, I think was actually a worship leader until I don't know.
Yeah, I had the same thing.
Tony Braxton and other people who have talked about it, even Beyonce. Yeah, so that is not strange. And so what this church, back to what I was saying about 2005 and 6, these 1 or 2 churches said, let's get as many of those people who have made an impact in the industry in Kenya out there, let's get them back to where their roots were, and let's get the best. And how do we get the best? We use the system in which they're used to, and that is they're paid for what they do, and bring them to church and get them back. I will say that when that was being done, it was from a strategic point of view by the churches, to say that part of our strategy of quality and I don't even think quality was number one. I could say that getting a practical impact, and that can be able to be felt by either people that like you or whatever, and also get these people grounded again, is get these musicians, pay them
something to play at church.
Yes.
Okay.
So that was the
starting point.
The starting point from what I had and what I knew.
Yeah.
From the people even who are around.
Yeah.
That was a very clear strategy. And with that, then what it did is that it also helped up the quality of music, which had sort of stagnated for a while.
Yeah, in the church.
In the church, so just change it a little bit. Having said that, then I don't think there's a problem with paying somebody to of whatever you're going to call it, as long as it's very clear from the institution what they are doing. And so from that point of view, I would say, if that is working for you with a very clear strategy of that's what you are achieving, or that's what you've probably researched around yourselves to whatever it is that you want to do, I don't think there's a problem. The concern came when now it became, this situation now became viral. All of a sudden, I think it just grew on, and from both ends. The institutions, when I say institution, is a church, and the clergy and the pastors and deacon boards and so on. When they felt that, oh wow, if another church is doing it, I think it's working for them. I think this should be working. So it started well. And I've mentioned 2005. That's how many years back? We're in 2022 now. So that's how many years ago? Esther, that's how many years ago? 2022 minus 6. Oh my goodness. Yeah, it's about 16 years.
Yeah.
16 years. So that's 16 years. That means there's been a generation that has seen this as the new norm. And
there are those who saw them before.
Yes, I saw them before, and I'm thinking, okay, fine, you want to pay, fine. We have not been paid to.
But it's like you said, it's a wide topic. It touches on very many areas.
Yes.
And one of the areas which I've just thought of when you're talking about strategy.
Yeah.
Do you think it would be, because we can't say whether this thing is right or wrong because it's already happening.
Yeah.
But do you think it would be a solution to something like, for example, this generation that we're talking about? Most of them are between, their 20s and 35 there.
Yeah.
So some of them have families, some of them started early, some of them don't, but they are looking for ways to just be stable.
Yeah.
Do you think it would be a sort of solution to this unemployment issue? Because also the church is looked to as a place where if I don't have a job and I come running to you as my pastor, thank you for praying for me, but now I need to eat,
Yeah.
So do you also think it would be a solution? But how can you be able to create a balance between it being a solution to my unemployment, but also me being able to serve?
I'll answer it this way. I started leading worship actively in my church when I left university at about when I was 22, actively in church. That I was still leading at university and involved in music, because my story is, I grew up as a Christian child in church, and I've known that's what I've done. And so as an adult, I made a decision that I'm going to join this church. My church is International Christian Center. I'm going to join the church, and I got into the worship team because I wanted to serve, and that's what I knew. many people, and they in many churches in Nairobi, let me speak Nairobi generally, and I think it's in the fabric of our society, it's like that. Because you're sort of energetic and you don't have a family and you're sort of free, you plug into church, and most worship teams are within that age bracket. Now, that person is sort of discovering that they're continuing the discovery process. Yes. Discovery begins at about teenage or whatever, but that's a window of discovery into university. So this person is still sort of discovering themselves, which translates into your first job, and you're picking up life. So it would be wrong, in my opinion, for someone to think of getting into serving in a worship team as they're discovering themselves from a point of being employed. Yes. or getting some form of remuneration. And that's what I think, because it was, first of all, an exciting place to serve, because even you find your calling and your purpose as you're serving. And even that word serving in itself, you're bringing the gift that you have to this God that you love. So I'm a married man. So if after this I decide to go and get a gift for my wife, I'm not going to give it to her because I want something back. That is so wrong. It's just because I love her and I've said that I'm going to sacrifice myself, and that's the whole precept of worship. The Christian faith is a unique faith compared to others because
it's a relationship.
It's a relationship, and the relationship is based on sacrifice.
Yeah.
Once you understand that principle,
then you can do all these other things.
So it's up to you, and that's what I'm saying now. The institution now can decide, okay, I think in the whole thing of, as long as if this is a principle and you've understood them and you're very clear, then by the time you're saying, I think this is the direction we shall go for our strategy, then it needs to be very, very clear. But also as a person, as an individual, you should know that in Christianity it's all about giving, because a point, this 20-year-old, a point will reach and realize, wait a minute, I need to learn how to give offering. I need to learn how to give of my gift. I need to learn that Christ died, and this whole thing is about dying to yourself. What does dying to yourself mean? It's just having.
And what I hear you say is there just needs to be a lot of teaching. And principles to be understood first, even just for the congregation generally, so that when anyone decides to do something, be it ushering, be it singing or whatever, even though maybe the church could find ways to support, like giving you transport, or just making sure you guys have some food after you've practiced or whatever, because there are those things that can support somebody and you feel like, okay, at least I'm being given this and that. But like, I think what I hear you say is a conversation around principles.
The principles, and
bringing back those principles, because I think they were there, but they got lost somewhere, like you said. It was a good strategy that the church started, but not so much.
Over time is gone. And I want to tell you something. This, I think, should be like the point where now my opinion. What happens to that congregant who sits there? Or maybe you're a parent who has a child who is learning how to play a violin or a piano or whatever. You're teaching them how to serve in church. But because you've got these musicians there who are paid to play on Sundays, what happens to this person who doesn't have any other place to express and need to bring their gift to the church? Because the church exists as a family to edify one another, to grow each other. So from a pastoral point of view, now let me speak as a pastor. I'm not officially a pastor, but as a worship leader, it's also as a worship leader, that's another thing.
For another day.
If you're a worship leader, if you're listening and you call yourself a worship leader, just know it's a pastoral job.
Yes, it is.
Whether you like it or not. So from that point of view, because you're from a pastoral point of view, which is caring for people and the community. So let's pretend you and I are pastors in this church. What do you want to see in a congregation? You want people to come. A church exists for people to come and worship. A community to come and worship, just like a family comes together around something to worship. But also this community is human beings that need to grow. Human beings that need to have relationship with each other. That means it's a very fluid space. Church is a very fluid space. That's why ideas are always welcome.
Welcome, it's true.
You go to a church, you understand what I'm saying,
yeah?
So like in your church, you told me to go to a certain church, which I know.
Yeah.
That I know one of the culture you have is that at the last song, you walk outside, recessional, and greet each other.
Yes.
At the last, that's a culture that is unique to one
well,
or
Corona
two.
changed that, but yes, that's a culture that we have.
Yes, that's a culture of some of the churches. Now, why do they do that? It's because it's a sense of community, and that's how I grew up as well. When I was young, we used to greet each other
and the pastors.
Now, when you're greeting each other, you're getting to know how are you. This person knows your name, and so on. This same community, don't be surprised if they decide, why don't we be eating together? After
the
church.
Service.
I will bring potluck. I will bring. That's how fluid churches can be. Now, if one of them comes and says, you know what, I've got a guitar at home. Can I come and sing? Are you going to tell this person? No, because you've got this guy who is
there,
paid to do it.
Paid. It's true.
You get what I'm saying? So that's where now I get to that. What I am passionate about is that we have some of these things can have lost. I've proved that they've lost the essence of that principle of what the Christian in a church setup. It got lost because we became sophisticated. And that sophistication came with the wrong way.
And also, when you taste money as a human being, something inside you starts growing horns. So, and I think that's what happened.
You know what happened? You know what I think is that, you know, even from a music point of view, without even money, because I know part of it was the quality of music. That, in my opinion, was a wrong approach. Because, like I said, why should I stop you if you can just strum a guitar to help people worship?
It's true.
Why are we having a conversation about quality first? You get what I'm saying? Instead of this person's heart. Because this person has brought all
and pruning them and growing them and sharpening whatever it is they now have.
Absolutely.
Because that's, I mean, I guess because that's even what the Word of God does.
No, the Word of God.
So even we should be.
Yes, absolutely. So the
because
Word
it's
of God
there for reproach, for teaching,
for
teaching and all that stuff. And, so that's what you should find in the church. I totally get what you're saying.
You see, like, and what I was going to say about the Word of God, I was just about to say it before you said, there's a woman who turned her house up and about to look for that one particular coin. Or and there are many instances of those where they want to give the best. They've brought the best, and the best is the all and the sacrifice they've given, as opposed to someone who probably decides, okay, I'm rich, I'm just going to take this off and bring it. And you see, if you're bringing what you have been convicted as the best, it's upon the church, the pastor, and the institution to say, my job is to make these people come around this thing that brings them together. So why don't you, in our modern world, why don't you look at your congregation? See the need that is there. Ask them, how do we grow our music expression of worship with what we have before you start even from there you build. And remember, it's not, and I keep telling musicians, it's not about the latest happening song that you saw on YouTube simply because a certain person has got 2 billion views. You bring. I was just telling my church, I was leading worship there, and I was telling the guys, you can't just bring that song here because the congregation doesn't even live in the world that the musician lives in. But see, the pastor may not, a big part of it may not know that because he's not a musician. He just wants, he believes that.
The hip thing, the one that will bring us the views.
Yes, absolutely. Then my second point is, I was talking about what happens to a person in the congregation. What about this musician? Because this is what happened now later on in Nairobi a lot. This musician is going to play at a gig on Friday, he's going to play at a gig on Saturday. And then he's going to come to church. Over time, this person will take Sunday service, not a service anymore. It will be another gig. So he played at a gig, whoever, and now what has happened in the music circles now, especially amongst instrumentalists, they have their own platforms. Of connecting, so that if Kaberia or someone else has a concert, I can quickly say that, hey, get me a drummer, or get me a pianist, and they go to that platform and they get, and they come. And it has happened to me before, and someone was expecting, okay, I'm going to pay on the best, I want to see if he's going to be the best. That's what happens. So you hear there's an international artist going anywhere, that's what happens here. They organize themselves, they did that. So again, so there's that concert, there's this Sunday, there's this, and it hit me one day when I was looking for a drummer to go somewhere that was invited to minister on a Sunday.
Okay.
Now, I was not being paid.
Yes.
Okay, me, I was invited to
And you
actually a
went,
school.
yeah.
And I said,
It's
I'm
part of
gonna
your
come.
ministry, so obviously
Absolutely.
it's the first thing you do.
Yes, and
Yeah.
I was like, in a school, teenagers, what? I've got
Yeah,
teenage kids, let me go. And with all my heart, then I was like, okay,
I need a
gosh,
drummer.
my drummer, my friends are not around, so let me get somebody. And I just asked kindly from anyone. But this, so all of a sudden there was a buzz. I was getting calls from about, I got about 7 people. Then it just hit me, why is everybody calling me to come and drum for me? And I realized, oh, these guys think it's another
Gig.
It's another gig.
It's a gig.
To go to.
Yeah.
So how I worked it out is that one of them I knew them personally because I
Yeah.
had been part of a flow.
So at least you're able to now.
So I was able to tell him, oh yeah, I know you, you come. And then out of my heart I decided, no, let me get him, pay for him the cab because he's doing me a favor. And you know, you come and you know, I've interrupted what he was doing and just appreciated him. Thank you so much. And I appreciated him. Not okay, I would have still appreciated him, but again, they surprised us. The screen surprised us and told us.
Oh, that's nice. Here's a token.
And I was
Yeah.
like, oh wow, thank you for the token. And I said, okay, might as well
Let's share it.
share it and even bless you with it. And for me, that's where I am at. So in the mind of this, now back to the pastoral
Back to the
thing.
pastoral thing.
As the worship leader or the team leader, from a pastoral point of view, how is the state of this guy?
Yes.
And translating to the state of all the other people who are on that platform.
On that platform.
No, I'm not saying it's a wrong thing. It's a good thing.
It's just the principle behind it.
The principle
Yes,
behind and the
yes,
state
yes.
of their heart. Because like I said, this whole thing of ministry and service is a heart thing and it's a sacrificial thing.
Yes.
So if your heart is, if it's transactional, ministry cannot be transactional.
Yeah, yeah.
It's never transactional.
It's not, yeah.
The way of the world is transactional.
Yeah.
I give something to you,
I get
you
it
give
back. Yeah.
But Christianity is the direct opposite.
It's sacrifice.
It's undeserved
Yeah,
favor,
like I can get
sacrifice.
nothing from this,
Nothing,
but I've done
absolutely.
it. So,
Absolutely.
yeah.
Doesn't mean that you are complacent. Doesn't mean that you play around or you don't have quality.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I think we put, whenever we put money conversations, we drew lines.
Yeah.
And that's the reality of money.
Yeah.
If you employ me, there are lines.
Yes,
it affects our relationship.
It affects our relationship.
And so on. So if you're in a setup where you're doing ministry, it becomes very murky, which is supposed to be fluid, but then they're already
And I think, I guess, how we can end this conversation is, from what I've gotten, is have the principle first.
Right.
Hold on to it.
Yes.
So if it's a principle of sacrificial giving, and that this is how my faith is supposed to be, then hold on to that.
Yes.
So that even if you're told today you will not be paid, you're still fine.
Yes.
It's not your rock.
Yes.
So, and you're okay with it.
Exactly.
Thank you so much.
Yeah,
and I feel like this is going to be like a very ongoing conversation. And I hope we can have you back once in a while. Yeah, just to demystify all of these things.